Can you tell us who you are and your role at Charlton Athletic?
Yes, so my role is I'm part of the media team here at Charlton Athletic. I work on Charlton TV.
I work with our men's first team as a physiotherapist, and I currently work within our performance services.
Yep, so I am the fan engagement officer at Charlton.
I'm the Women and Girls Football Development Officer at the Community Trust.
I'm the head of first team men's player care. My role involves looking after all of the men's team and the coaching staff.
I'm the women's operation and first team player care lead.
Well, I'm PA to the board. I also do the administration for the hospitality on match days for the men's first team.
My full-time role is a Vanguard case manager. So I basically support in running a serious youth violence programme.
So since April 2021, I've been involved in the club as fan advisor, firstly, now fan advocate.
And I'm the Women's Safeguarding and Welfare Officer.
I'm the head of women's football.
And I am the new performance psychologist for the women's first team here at Charlton Athletic.
And how did you get into this role at Charlton?
I'm a lifelong fan, and I think as a fan it was a real honour to just be able to get involved in the club. I'm here sort of week in, week out, so I know what it's like to be around the stadium, and I think that I've got a pretty good idea of how things can be improved. I've also talked to people a lot that are around Charlton, both home and away, and it was really important to me, especially when over recent years perhaps things haven't been so good on the pitch or so good in the league. It was really important to me that Charlton kind of kept going and kept being Charlton off the pitch. And that was something I was really keen to get involved in.
Probably from a playing background, always kind of been involved, came from a family of professional athletes, so kind of naturally followed that path, and then you kind of follow your passion, I guess, and I just ended up playing and then working in football.
When I was about 18, I decided I wanted a bit of a career change because what I was planning just didn't really surface. And my main passion was football. It's what my family and friends sort of steered me towards. They said, well, you really like it, you seem to know a lot about it, why don't you steer in that direction? And that's exactly what I did. I went to uni, I studied, I got work experience, and then I ended up it.
I've always had like a passion for working with young people. I come from quite a troubled background when I was younger. I wasn't the best behaved child, let's put it that way. And yeah, so it's always been like my passion. I've always been driven to sort of like want to support change within young people, and it's always wanted to be a role that I've always wanted to be involved in. So yeah, when I see, obviously the part-time role came up, and I love the youth work, I love what I do, but I obviously wanted to do it more full-time as well. So when the full-time position came up and it was like serious youth violence, I thought that is like a bit of me, like I really wanted to be involved in it. And yeah, I've loved every minute of working on the Vanguard programme.
My journey started actually at Charlton Athletic when I was 15 years old. I came to the club for my first ever piece of work experience in football. So I spent the week working within all departments of the football club, from the ticketing office to a day with the ground staff, and always knew that football was an environment and an industry that I wanted to work in. Had in the back of my mind, journalism was something that I loved. At school, I really enjoyed English, history, the arts, writing, talking, always talking too much in class. So that was something that I wanted to pursue. But perhaps when I was at that age, it wasn't necessarily the pathway now, particularly for women, that there is.
So I actually started with our boys' academy, working with our under 9s to 16s, and then thankfully I was quite fortuitous to work with our 18s and eventually 21s, and then head of academy medical, and then more recently this past season working with our men's first team. So studied at university, worked within various sports, so NHS as well, basketball, rugby, football, and then eventually found my way full-time football, which has been amazing.
I'll be honest with you, it took me until like my early 40s to actually fall in love with football. It started off when I started coaching a disability girls team, and then I started attending lots of matches with both my daughters, and it sort of like spiralled out from then.
So I started probably 5 or 6 years ago now, kind of just finished uni, didn't really know what I wanted to do, but always had a passion for football, so thought I'd try a bit of coaching out, and started as a casual coach here and sort of worked my way up from there.
So I was a teacher previously, did 21 years of teaching. I was thinking about possibly a career change, and I saw this job come up. My family are Charlton fans, Dad's a big Charlton fan. I saw it the day it was actually closing, and I decided to just give it a go, and here I am.
Have you faced any challenges as a woman working in football?
Not at Charlton at all, no. It's been amazing. Previously, probably, I think there's probably a little bit of stigma still with some people with, I'm a single mum, so having to do the school run and get childcare and work around that. And I think, yeah, there probably is a little bit of stigma still, but not here at all.
I think traditionally football's always been a very male-dominated sport, so you do get the odd comment. But I think we're really lucky here. We're a very diverse and supportive staff team, and I think that really helps.
Not necessarily since I've started working in football, more as a kid playing football. There's always kind of the stereotypes of getting picked last and things like that. But I always got on with it. I just enjoyed football a lot, so it didn't really bother me too much.
I feel that I'm probably more valued and listened to now than I was 10 years ago. And I feel that before you may not have just been listened to, or your advice wasn't listened to. And then I just find like sometimes I had to like raise it a little bit louder, really, to say, well, actually, I know what I'm talking about, and please do listen to me.
There weren't many grassroots teams around, and Charlton Athletic Community Trust was the only place that I could go and play football at half term. So I always used to go to those courses. So it's always kind of been a seed in my mind that Charlton is a really good football club for creating opportunities like that. And I would say from the moment I've arrived, there have been lots of women around the football club, which is nice. And over the 4 seasons I've been here, more and more, and perhaps with the growth of the women's first team and the roles to support them as well, I've noticed even more, which I think is brilliant, because the more women that you have around a football club, I just think it contributes to a really positive environment. I think the more experiences you can get from people from different walks of life just creates a brilliant culture. So it's wonderful for me when I arrive at the football club. From the moment I walk into the women who greet me at reception, the women that work in hospitality, the women that work within the first team environment, is brilliant. I would say I think within media it's probably slimmer, and outside of my work with Charlton, more often or not, I can be the only woman in a press room, and maybe even sometimes on a match day at Charlton there will be very few women around in that particular role.
How important do you think visibility is when it comes to increasing female representation in football?
I think it's so important. I was having a conversation yesterday, and even, you know, the basics of a football agent or a football general manager, a football physio, like I said, they were all male held roles for a very long time, and they still are, and that's absolutely fine. But I think it's important for young girls and women, not necessarily young girls, for women in different industries to see that they can make a change and come across into an industry and take them roles up. I think that's really, really important. It's something that's definitely changed in the last 10, 15 years.
I think it is massively important. You know, what it's like when you're a child and you turn on the TV and you can relate to something, whether that be a cartoon or a series or a kind of, like a children's reality TV show. And it's about seeing someone that you can identify with and thinking the impossible is possible, where sometimes those routes aren't clear cut. How do I get there? How did she become this? From footballers to physios, S&C, the social media, there are so many roles in women's football that I feel the outside world hasn't even scratched the surface. So I think things like this are so important for all young people to kind of see. There are routes and there are all different types of jobs that you can also do.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important, because certainly for young girls growing up, if they see females within football or within sport full stop, they can perhaps have people as role models to look up to and think that, maybe I have got an avenue to going into a particular role that I'm interested in, and my gender won't be a barrier to getting to that. But we must not kid ourselves. There will also be challenges in that regard, but working hard and being passionate and being a good person certainly will pay off dividends. But yeah, hopefully as a society we'll get better as the years and what have you go by.
I think it's crucial. I'm an advocate of. I took Charlotte, Asha, and Beth to a school to speak to girls about the different job roles that there are for women in football, and I think it is important for any of us. In my day, there wasn't really women playing football. Like, it wasn't something that you would do, and it's just, I think, how everything is changing and there is more opportunities, and I think it is really, really important to teach any children that you can do whatever you want to do. Even if you can't play football, there is a role. You could be a physio, you could be in the media side. There is so many different avenues, and just really educating them that they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I mean, videos like this that we're doing today is just so important because there are so many roles in football. You know, when you tend to think of a club, you tend to think of only certain roles, and it's nice to sort of like get an overview of what each person's job is. Just, you know, so you know there are all those opportunities out there for you.